So, welcome back to the MANvFAT Wales podcast, which I believe is for episode 23. And I'm here with the amazing Ryan Hickson from Crewe. I need to say True then. It's not. It's Crewe. So, welcome. Thanks for being with us, Ryan. You posted on the MANvFAT community kind of a bit of a précis of where you are and what you're hoping to do in the next few weeks, and it's taken a few weeks for us to get together, and you've had even more success. And you just told me that very recently you've been given like the most minute number, which brings me to the name of this podcast, which is BMI Can Do It. And I think you're definitely going to do it because you are that close, and your coach has told you how close you are. So just want to introduce yourself first of all. Tell us about yourself and who you are and how you got involved with MANvFAT.
Yo, first of all, thanks for having me on. Because it's like, wow, getting to come on a podcast and stuff. But like you said, my name's Ryan Hickson, and I play in the Crewe MANvFAT League. And I've just, yesterday was my first match of my fourth season with the programme, which I could just sing its praises forever, putting it bluntly, because it's literally changed my life. And like you've said, my coach, who's Sam Thorne, has told me from what I think he said, my loss that I need to get now to reach maintenance weight is 0.3 kilograms, which is quite ridiculous when almost this time last year, it's literally next week last year that I joined for my first session at Crewe, looking at it, and it said I had, the NHS, something like about 35 kilogram to lose to get to what they have as healthy. And well, here I am a year later on the verge of getting it, thanks to the guys at Crewe.
Yeah, and absolutely. And you've started with where you are and who's told you about it and who's helped you on the way. And big up to Sam Thorne, because he's an absolutely awesome coach. I know that for a few people who've said that he's an excellent player. He went on his own journey, and now he's helping loads of other guys. So talk us through then. You kind of briefly just spoke to me about season one. You weighed in and you had an absolutely awesome season one. Tell us about how much you lost in that season.
Yeah, well, at season one, as that's light up again, I weighed in at 110.2 kilograms, which I'm not sure what that is in stone because I work in kilogram. But so that was my first weigh-in. And the weigh-in for the final week, I came in at 90.7 kilogram, which was a 19.5 kilogram loss in it's 12 weeks in a season.
14, sometimes 14. 12. If you're a small league, sometimes it's 12.
Because we were at that point, it was a 14.
Yeah, might have been 12.
With a cup run in there as well. So, and it was 17.7% body weight loss, or whatever you want to describe it as. Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely epic. So you had this season one that was just kind of smashed it out the park. I imagine you won every award with that. I can't imagine there's an award you haven't won with 17.7.
Yeah, I was top scorer without actually putting the ball in the back of the net.
Do you know what?
Well, the back of the opposition net, shall I say, because I actually put the ball into my own net.
Congratulations.
On my first game. So it's like, and still got top scorer. So it's like, yay.
So tell me about season two then, because you kind of talked about season two being that kind of awkward second album.
Yeah, well, we moved to a 6-team league at that point, and I moved to a new team, which I was originally on white team, and then moved to green team. But then I was a bit downhearted because it's like that. It's looking back, it's actually a pretty good loss. I lost a further 8.2 kilogram in season 2, which took me down to 82.5 kilogram. But the big thing that I took from that season was the last day of the season, I hit my 25% body weight loss. So honestly, I did get a bit downhearted that I didn't lose it. Like, I lost less than half the amount I did in season 1, and had the classic mountain and troughs with my weight going up and down. But like I was saying, it's I was losing and then gaining the same amount pretty much, and then plateauing for a few weeks and then losing. So it was, I don't want to say it was annoying, but having known what I've done in the first season, I felt like I was not letting people down, but kind of like letting them down. Because in all honesty, I'm not the greatest player on the pitch. I put everything into it. That's all I can ask. That's, everybody in the league know that I put everything into it. But the goals I was scoring in season 1 were all through the weight loss. So I felt like I was letting them down by not losing as much, if that makes sense.
Do you know what? It makes more sense because I'm a player first and a coach second. That makes 100% sense to me because I'm definitely not the best player on the pitch. 100% I'm not the best player on the pitch, but, you know, I try and do my very best off the pitch. And when you can't do that even, and when you are plateauing, it's tricky. So talk about the plateauing then. Who did you lean on? Did you go to coach? Did you go to Coach Sam, and did he help you with that? What happened?
Well, it was Sam was a big thing in it, saying about to stick with it, and because he's had experience of plateauing and whatnot. But not just Sam, we had he was no longer my captain because obviously I moved teams. Sean, he was singing my praises, saying about, I know I've lost so much, I can give myself a break. But then that was spreading out to my green team captain, whose name's Reese, who's the guy who does a lot of the social media side of things for Crewe. And then that spread out to pretty much the whole league, just telling me that they know how much I've lost, and like I'm an inspiration to them all. Because it's not I've got them to do it because they've done it themselves, but a load have signed up to Park Run. They said because they've seen me posting into the WhatsApp saying, look, I've just broken another PB.
Yeah.
But it's annoying because the weight loss is just nope, but my fitness.
Yeah. And you know what? It's about leaning on people, and sometimes it's not about them fixing it for you. It's about them putting it right in your mind and saying, listen, look at the big picture. You know, at this point, you're probably 25 kilos down, and I think you're 32 and a half now in total. That 0.3 is coming off this week, I'm sure. You're going to, by the time this goes out, you're going to be probably a BMI boss. And you've mentioned the white team captain because you had a conversation with him about mental health and how you sometimes feel. And I don't know whether you feel comfortable talking about that. I know you did off camera, but you said he was really, really, receptive and he was very helpful to you in lots of ways there.
Oh yeah, I'm very open with it. I'll talk to it because the best thing to do with your mental health, I've had the tough thing of trying to keep it quiet and found out that's probably the worst thing you can do. You need to open up and talk to people, because even if you don't think they'll be there, they're going to be there to help you, because a lot of people will have been in a similar position, which I didn't want to. I felt like I was throwing my problems on people because I've lost friends when I've opened up about my mental health. But the guys at Crewe, and even when I've been with the 11s football team, because we're in the national tournament, like Crewe got knocked out in the group stage, but I got to play a few of the teams. Like we played Warrington in a friendly, Stoke in the group, and a few others. But I've spoke to them as well about it, and I've kept in contact with some of them just to keep talking. It's like, and even the MANvFAT community group on Facebook, I can be open in there. And I know that people won't, I don't have to word it, but like take the mick that, oh, you've got mental health problems, haha, let's put you down when you're already down enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of the things that, people join MANvFAT to lose weight, and they join MANvFAT to lose football. That's just me, to play football. But it's this unsung, more unsung than it should be, part of MANvFAT, that the mental health side of it, the camaraderie, the support, the kind of informal stuff, plus the formal stuff like access to Silver Cloud, access to mental health stuff that MANvFAT do, and things they put out. It's really important, and people should talk about it more. Mental health, plus also the stuff that MANvFAT does for mental health. So you kind of alluded to the fact you've lost some people there along the way, and if I can just give a brief rundown of what you said to me. You said at the start of 2020, you tried your very best to join MANvFAT in another league, Salford.
Yeah.
And what was it, one session before full lockdown, Boris shut us all down?
It was one of them come and try sessions. And then I think I might have done, one like official session, but I'm not sure. So that's what so it's like, I joined, but I never really joined. Yeah. If that makes sense. Which, yeah, I stepped on it, it's like, yeah, lockdown.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to come to that. How did you find lockdown in terms of weight and in terms of kind of mental health?
Well, with losing my best friend, like he's still around, so he didn't pass away or anything, but we completely lost contact with each other for, I'll just say stupid reasons, because nobody wants to know all that and whatnot. But then depression hit hard with because I lost my girlfriend as well as my best friend in like the same time. So it's like, I was just like, nope, that's just me pretty much gone, point bluntly. So I turned to, well, I suppose a lot of people do with depression, turn to food. And then the weight piled on. And then, like I said in the pre-chat, I didn't realize I was the size I was until looking back now. And it's like, okay, did not realize that. Because it was about, when lockdown had started to ease-ish, and we were like allowed to travel a bit for exercise. That's when I first started to, I'm going to get this, because Park Run was talking about starting up again, and obviously that never happened for months. And so where I live, I basically live in the middle of 3 Park Run courses. So I was using what they call the freedom runs.
Yeah.
To get myself like reacquainted with the courses, and to like try and get, well, I didn't really have any fitness when Park Run started when Park Run was on before lockdown, but I'd lost what little I had. So I decided I wanted to get it back, and then, well, it came back.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and you then saw, so you're trying to build up your fitness, and you saw the advert for ManvFAT Crewe because you were going to travel like an hour each way to ManvFAT Salford, and you saw
Yeah, at least.
ManvFAT Crewe started up then with Sam, and that was a year and just less than a year ago today. But you also said something really interesting, and lots of guys do this. You felt at the very start of it much too, like almost too scared to step on the scales, and you judge lots of your progress through your Facebook memories, photos, and photos you got saved on your phone and on the laptop. Do you? This is a question I ask lots of. It's something I tell all of my new guys, but it's something I asked lots of guys who started and didn't do it as well. Do you have any? Do you have any like before photos, proper like stood up? This is me now. Photos from the very start.
Well, I've got one from that I like to use because I like to go Wales a lot, because that's like my safe place to clear my mental health. I go to North Wales to I don't know how to pronounce its full name, but it's often shortened to Abergavenny Falls.
Yeah.
I did a picture in December of 2020, so it's what, 4 or 5 months before I started ManvFAT. But me stood in front of the waterfall, and I went back in the summer of last year and recreated the picture as closely as I could. And then I went back up, I think it was the 27th of December last year, I want to say. So the trees were obviously like almost identical. So it was not easy, but quite easy to match the decision. So now I've got that picture, which I'm not sure what size clothes I was in the December 2021, but I'm in a full, well, it sounds weird saying a full football kit, but I'd just done a trail run around like 8.5 kilometers up and over the top of the waterfall and round.
Yeah.
Before then walking back up to take a picture in front of the waterfall. So
I want to bring you now kind of to the end because you've talked about your journey and, you know, you've done absolutely amazing. You're 0.3 away from BMI Boss, which will be just the most amazing thing. You left me on the message you sent me with a little bit of advice, and, you know, something you would say to someone about don't be downhearted when things don't happen, you know, as fast as you want. What advice would you give to people who are maybe at that stage you were with the plateauing? What would you say to them? What should they do?
Well, it sounds weird, but just try not to let your head get into the thing that you've lost so much. Why isn't it coming off now? Just think, yeah, well, in my case, I'm 3/4 of the man I used to be. So, of course, it's going to come off slower. And even if you get your slight gains, your weight's going to fluctuate slightly anyway.
That's amazing advice. You know, celebrate the things that have gone really well. Don't forget about them. You know, even if you're having a trickier time at the moment, just remember, you know, how far away you are from that start, and then lean on other people. You know, that's the beauty of ManvFAT. It's a team sport, but so are the scales. So I'd like to thank you so much for being here, Ryan. And sharing your amazing story. And please let us know, not if, but when you get that BMI Boss. Look forward to hearing about your success, mate.
Oh, thank you.